It's showtime. What's up, good people? And welcome to the Frank Harris Show, the biggest, the baddest, the best, and the most provocative show on earth. We got Dominican E on today. What's good, E? How you feeling, my brother?
I'm good. You know, the World Series is right around the corner. New York Yankees. New York City is vibing right now. The Liberty just won. Yankees in the World Series. Too bad.
Well, you shouldn't add the Liberty in there because the Liberty got a gift because they robbed the Lynx, but that's another
Too
story.
bad the
They
Giants
robbed the
suck.
Lynx.
Too bad the Giants
Y-
suck. The Jets suck. You know, let's
Yeah,
see
the
what happens
Giants
with the
and the
Knicks.
Jets
Let's see
suck.
what happens with the Knicks.
So, E, I want to talk about the Knicks, but Yankees, Dodgers, you brought it up earlier. Who you got, Yankees or Dodgers?
I got I got the Dodgers. I got the Dodgers in 6.
Now, how you gonna say New York is a buzz? You up in the heights, Dominican, where baseball is king, and you picking the Dodgers over the Yankees?
I'm not a
Yo,
Yankee
bro, come
fan.
on, dogs.
I'm not a Yankee fan.
Yo, I gotta revoke your Washington Heights, New York card, bro.
Yeah, I'm not a Yankee fan, man. I'm a Boston fan. So seeing the
Oh,
seeing the Yankees
oh,
seeing the Yankees
come on,
hurts my
bro.
heart. But hey, listen, it'll be good, for New York City. You know what I'm saying? So hey, shout out to both of those
Yankees
teams.
in 7.
Okay.
By the way, this is what Major League Baseball has to love. Yankees in 7. Major League Baseball has to love this. Yankees, Dodgers, New York, LA, all the big name players in this game, right? The AL MVP, which is Aaron Judge, right? The best two players in baseball, you argue, are Judge and Otani, right? Otani's going to be the NL MVP. The best two players in baseball. You have other players like Juan Soto, Dominican player, amazing. You got, Mookie Betts, who you can argue is one of the top 3 to 5 players as well. The storylines are amazing. Heated rivalry. It's going to be an amazing series. Major League Baseball needs this, Eric, because Major League Baseball has been atrocious to watch in general. So Yankees, Dodgers hopefully will boost the sport. It's going to be hopefully a great series. I got the Yankees in 7. My team, the Yankees. Go, 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 go. Aaron Judge. By the way, Aaron Judge, I think, is going to be the MVP, but Stanton has been amazing this postseason. But go Yankees. Now, E.
Where do you leave Soto? Soto has been amazing too.
But not like Stanton. Stanton was the MVP of the last series. But Stanton's been amazing.
Okay.
Right? Stanton's been amazing. So I got to ride with my guy Stanton. Now, E, that being the case, right? That being the case, E, let's go right into the Knicks. We saw the Knicks play, but not just the Knicks. Let's go into the NBA season kicked off last night. We had first game Knicks Celtics. Second game we had Lakers Timberwolves. Right? Knicks Celtics first game blowout. Eric, 20 plus point blowout. The Celtics shot the ball unbelievably well. They hit a whole bunch of threes. I mean, it was crazy how well they played. Knicks don't look very good, Eric. I'm alarmed, right? Game 1, and I don't feel like the Knicks are in a class with Boston. And by the way, E, I said earlier I thought Boston would come back very, very, very even though they won the championship, feeling like they got slighted, right? And have a lot of ammunition and motivation to be great this year because what happened with Tatum over the summer, not playing with Team USA, Brown not getting accepted on the Team USA team, Brown coming out and speaking out against, Nike, etc. So many things happened during the offseason. To 2 lesser teammates, right? Lesser on the court, got to be on the Olympic team ahead of Brown. So the 2 stars in that team felt slighted. And they came out game 1 and showed that they were the superior team and they were playing with a chip on their shoulder. Kudos to them. What do you think about that game, Ian? What do you think about your Knicks? The Knicks look terrible. Your boy Karl Anthony Towns, another Dominican brother of yours. I don't know about that fit, E. I thought it was going to fit great, but it didn't look very good last night.
I mean, it's the first game. It's ring ceremony.
That's fair.
It's ring ceremony. So listen, Celtics shot the head out. They shot the head out that ball last night. They made 29 threes, 29 threes. Was stuck on it. They were stuck on it for a while. They didn't break the record. They tied the record for most threes in the game. But let me tell you this: can Boston sustain, a season of playing this type of basketball where you're just jacking up threes? I don't think that I don't think they could do it. You know what I'm saying? They got great talent, but I don't think you could win winning basketball, championship basketball, just jacking up threes. I know that's today's game, just jacking up threes, but I mean, I don't think you could win just jacking up threes. I mean, they hit them last night. You know what I'm saying? It's like you live by the 3, you die by the 2. So I don't know.
Well, let me say this though, E. So let me say this, E. They won last year by just jacking up threes. And the Golden State Warriors won a lot of years by just jacking up threes. So I'm not sure you can say that. right? I mean, they won last year by jacking up threes. That's how they played last year, and that's how the Golden State Warriors ushered in that era of basketball. That's the era of basketball that we live in today. So you can win jacking up threes.
Nah, I don't think you could do it, Frank. I don't think you could do it. I don't think you could.
What? I mean, they won last year that way. I mean, they weren't playing in the post or driving to the basket last year. They jacked up threes last year.
They played Dallas Mavericks, which was a team which was undersized. You know, and
they jacked up threes is the point, though.
They jacked up threes.
And by the way, the Golden State Warriors jacked up threes. They won for years jacking up threes. So, I mean, you can absolutely win in today's NBA jacking up threes, for sure. And the Warriors changed the whole trajectory of basketball. But anyway,
but they do
but the Knicks, listen. Listen, I don't know how. Let's see how the Karl-Anthony Towns fits with the Knicks. I'm going to tell you who's scaring me is Bridges. Bridges changed his shot, Eric. You see that jump shot?
Yeah.
It's weird. Like he's shooting over. I mean, he changed his shot. And it looks horrible. I'm concerned about a guy, right? When you change your form the way he did, it looks broken. I mean, I don't want to go Markelle Fultz, but man, it's almost like that, Eric. The jump shot looks broken. Offensively, man, he's going to struggle with that jump shot. I mean, he was shooting the ball decently, I thought. I mean, he was kind of a 3-and-D guy, I felt, when he was playing with Phoenix. But man, that jump shot looks broke. Broke. Let's see, Eric. I don't know.
I also think
Game one. You
know what I also think too, Frank? I think they're gonna miss.
Go ahead.
They're gonna miss DiVincenzo. They're gonna miss him. A guy that comes, that gives you defense, that gives you scoring off the bench, that can, defend multiple positions on the wing. I think that was a piece that they should have kept, but they traded him. But I mean, I think that's a piece that they're gonna miss down the stretch.
Hey, so let me say this, E. Second game. You obviously had the spectacle of Bronny and his dad, LeBron James, playing together, father, son. Ken Griffey Jr. was there with his son. Spectacle, Eric, right? I mean, and by the way, I get it. Ken Griffey Jr. and father and son played together. Different level, right? LeBron James is way better than Ken Griffey Sr., but Ken Griffey Jr. was way, way better than Bronny James, right? No. As a prospect, as a player, et cetera, et cetera.
Comparison.
But look, no, right. And so, we all know Bronny James does not deserve to be in the NBA. At that point, both of those guys in Major League Baseball, Ken Griffey Jr. and Sr. deserve to be playing Major League Baseball. That being the case, it was a spectacle. We saw it. It's great. It's great for marketing. That's what the Bronny James sideshow is, right? It's great for marketing right now. But now you get back to it happened. It's behind them now. Now it's time to get back to the basketball. We wish the young man the best, even though we know he doesn't deserve to be there. And I wish LeBron would stop with it's 450 best players in the world and the 450 best players, and I'm happy. He's not one of the 450 best players in the world. You know it, Eric. I know it. LeBron knows it. Stop it. Now, listen, great marketing play. I told you he's worth his weight in gold from a marketing money perspective. The jerseys will sell, right? This moment to be great, historically for the Lakers. Bronny James is worth marketing money, marketing dollars, et cetera, but he's not one of the top 450 players in the world. Now it's time for him to go down to the G League and just work on his game and try to become an NBA-level player. Forget about a high-level player, just an NBA-level player, right? Hopefully he can do that. You understand what I'm saying? And we can get back to business with basketball. But by the way, I love Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis looked like an MVP yesterday. Looks like he's going to be an MVP.
One game.
Listen, I don't want to have overreaction after the first game, right? I'm saying the Knicks are going to be terrible this year and AD is going to be the MVP. I don't want to overreact because all the pundits do that. Let me not overreact, Eric, but he sure looked good last night.
He did look good. He did look good. He looked good. You know what I'm saying? He did look good. For all you, and I want to say this, for all you guys that were betting last night, Bronny James' line was a 1.5. He was 1.5 points to score. He didn't score, so you guys betted on Bronny James.
Who was dumb enough to bet that?
Well, he had opportunity. He had opportunity. He played 3 minutes, took up 2 shots.
Bro, I mean, we know it was a spectacle. And so, and by the way, E, I'm not again. If you overreaction after the game, I understand. But let me say this, Eric. All of the Minnesota Timberwolves players looked very unhappy playing with Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards was going pecan, Eric. He was coming up the court playing one-on-one. There was no ball movement. Let me say this. Julius Randle was sick to his stomach. The last time we saw Julius Randle in an NBA uniform, he was getting a lot of shots playing with the Knicks. all-star level player getting a lot of shots.
Yeah.
Bruh, Anthony Edwards was coming up the court going 1-on-5 every play. And by the way, the coach wasn't even running offense, Eric, where the ball swings 2 or 3 times. No. You get him coming off a screen, a pick, or you get him doing a screen and roll on the off-ball side after the ball rotates. Just something so other guys can touch the ball, Eric. Literally, he was taking the ball one-on-one all the time. Julius Randle looked sick. DiVincenzo looked sick. So now you go from New York to Minnesota. You don't touch the ball, Eric? Yeah. That didn't look very good last night.
I always say that's not a great
fit. It really isn't.
That's not a great fit for Randle. It's not a great fit for Randle. I mean, you got Rudy Gobert clogging up the lane. Then you got Anthony Edwards taking every shot. Then you got, Randle. I mean, it's not a good fit for Randle playing in Minnesota. It's not a good fit. It's not a good fit for him. But let's say they can work.
I got a question for you. Was it a better fit for the Knicks? Or is it a better fit with
way better fit
Minnesota? I don't think it's a good fit for either. I think it's a bad fit for both of them, to be honest with you.
No, it's a great fit for the Knicks. Great fit for the Knicks. It's a guy that can, when you pick and roll, you can pick and pop with. You can pick and pop with Cat. You know what I'm saying? You can throw it into Cat. You know what I'm saying? It spaces the court out. You got Rudy Gobert there. You can't play Randle and Rudy Gobert at the same time. You got a guy that wants to get to the lane, and Anthony, and he's clogging the lane. So let's see. Let's see.
So we had our conversation about the MVP this year. Who you got coming out the East and coming out the West? We talked about it before, but who you got coming out of the East and the West this year in the playoffs?
Damn. Wow. We just had game 1. Damn, we gotta get warm into thing. But I'll give you my pick. I'm gonna go.
What do you mean? You normally give your pick before the season. What you want to give me your pick 81 games into the season?
No, you give your pick midway through the season after the All-Star break when you see teams how they.
Well, we can pick again at that point, but we can revisit it.
Okay.
But you got to give me your pick now.
All right, I'm gonna go Milwaukee. I'm gonna go Milwaukee in the East.
Milwaukee in the East over Boston. Okay.
I'm gonna go Milwaukee in the East. Damn, and I'm gonna go. That's gonna be tough. I'm gonna go. Who? Nah, Dallas is not gonna go. Dallas ain't gonna go far. You got Denver. You got OKC. Nah, they too young. Man, who? I'm gonna go Denver. I'm gonna go Denver in the West. I'm gonna go Milwaukee.
I'm
gonna go Milwaukee and Denver.
So I'm gonna go Boston. I'm gonna go Boston in the East, and because of the chip on the shoulder and the stuff that I talked about. And look, everybody's talking about the Knicks are the second best team. Watching them last night, again, I don't want to overreact, but they didn't look very good at all. And then with the news coming out of Philadelphia where Embiid is not playing in back-to-backs ever again in his career, which is crazy, right? I mean, can you imagine going to the job and saying, I'm not going to play in back-to-backs ever again in my career? Crazy, right? Unbelievable, Eric. And then you got Paul George hurt before the season starts. So, the Knicks look terrible to me. And, Philadelphia is out the gates hurt, and Embiid is out the gates not playing back-to-backs. And already your seeding will be bad because you're going to lose most of those games and Embiid doesn't play. Yeah. And so I do believe I got Milwaukee. Eric, versus Boston in the finals, conference finals, and I got Boston winning that, like I said, because of the chip on their shoulder, the championship experience, the proverbial monkey off their back. I feel like they'll be playing a lot freer, right, after winning the championship last year. Listen, Eric, I got an interesting East, right? I got 3 teams in the East that I think, in the West. I got 3 teams in the West to watch out for, right? And I'm going to tell you who's going to win, I think. But 3 teams in the West, I got Denver, I got OKC, and I got the Lakers. Yeah. Okay? Denver, OKC, and Lakers. Let me say this, Eric. If the Lakers don't match up with Denver, the Lakers get to the championship. I think the Lakers' only unfavorable matchup is Denver. And if somebody beats Denver before the Lakers Denver, they own the Lakers, right? Pedro Martinez, another Dominican legend. Who's your daddy, right? Who's your daddy? The Denver Nuggets own the Lakers. They do, Eric. They own the Lakers. They own them. They beat them every time. But, Eric, if Denver loses before they get to the Lakers, Eric, then the Lakers get to the finals. You got Boston and the Lakers in the finals. If the Lakers can avoid Denver, I don't think anybody can beat Denver. If the Lakers can't avoid Denver, I got Denver. Now, Eric, if the Lakers lose to Denver, or the Lakers match up to Denver, I got Denver playing against OKC, Eric, and I think OKC is in the finals.
Oh,
I got OKC right in the finals. Wow. Young Eric, I think, substantial pickup. The Knicks center, right? They needed a big man to play with Chet. Assuming they got health, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander may be the MVP in the NBA this year, close to it. I think Caruso is a great pickup. But what's the lefty big man from the Knicks, Eric? His name is eluding me right now. That they picked up in offseason. Hartenstein. Yeah. Right, Isaiah Hartenstein. Right, great pickup for them. Center, big man, lefty, and he fits great with Chet too because he's a hustle guy, right? And Chet is the skill four. I got OKC. I think they have an MVP caliber player. I got OKC or the Lakers. We keep on thinking Denver.
With OKC, Frank. I think they're still too young, but we'll see. That's a bold prediction. I was thinking OKC, but they're just too young for me. They're just too young, and they haven't really faced adversity. Sometimes in basketball, you have to have those tough losses.
Well, they did. I mean, last year they had the best record and lost in the playoffs. They had the best record during the regular season.
You gotta get to that. The NBA finals,
conference finals. Maybe you saying get to the
stuff like.
Conference finals. Well, look, and they got listen. Their perimeter defense is stifling. Caruso's great, right? Caruso's like first team All NBA defense. Yes. Dort is very good as well, right? Casey Wallace coming off that bench, Kentucky guy, is another defensive stopper. So you put that kind of defense around a guy like Shai, and Shai's also, I think Shai was like second or third in the NBA steals last year. I think their perimeter defense is elite, man. They got
a good young team, Frank. I just think they have to go through some growing pains first to get over that hump, and then maybe next year they'll make that jump. But right now, or next year or the final year they'll make that jump. But I don't think right now, as a team that young, could get to the could get to the finals when you overcome Denver, who has experience, the Lakers, who have experience. These teams have experience. They know what it takes. So I don't think OKC is ready just yet.
Okay, let me say this. I think they are young, but I don't think they're as young as you think, right? Shai's not young, right? In their first five, Caruso's not young, right? I mean, Dort is not young. And we talking about guys that, Caruso, Shai. Hold on. Let me finish. Hartenstein is not young.
When we say young, Frank is young in championship moments. These guys are young. They never really experienced that, Frank. But I'm not saying young in age. They're young as far as terms of.
I thought you meant young in age.
No,
okay.
I'm just talking about young and experienced when they facing those moments, when you're facing adversity, when you got a game 5, a must win, those type of environment. I don't think they're ready for that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got a swing game.
A game 5, you mean a game 7?
No, a game 5 which is a swing game, right? You could go 2-2. Oh. You know what I'm saying? It's a swing game, and I don't know if they're ready for that, or game 7, like you said. I don't think they're ready for
Fair enough. We'll see. I got OKC or the Lakers advancing. The Lakers don't face them. I got the Lakers advancing to the finals, and OKC if they face Denver, because I don't think the Lakers can beat Denver. I'm going to put you on the spot right now, Eric. Top 5 players in the NBA for you right now.
Top 5. Frank? Shit. I'm going to go, obviously, Giannis. That's 1. Jokic, 2.
Okay, Giannis Jokic.
Giannis Jokic. Luka, 3.
Everything can't be scripted, but this is the great thing about what we do, right? I mean, it's fun to be up the cup. I like that. Luka, who else?
Luka, 3.
Yeah. I got those 3 as well, just for clarity. This is where it gets tricky right now.
I got Tatum.
Because those are 3 everybody has.
I got Tatum. I got Tatum.
You got Tatum at 4. Wow. So Tatum may not be the best player on this team, but you got him at 4? Interesting.
I got Tatum at 4.
Wow.
And I got a healthy Embiid. That's the thing. Like if you're not healthy, I can't really put you in that category because I don't know if you're gonna be, you're gonna play. So And I'm gonna go Brown. So I got Tatum.
Wait, hold on. That's six. Hold on.
No, that's five.
So
that's five. I didn't pick Embiid. I said I was gonna think about picking Embiid, but I don't got Embiid.
Wow. So you think the fourth and fifth best players in the NBA are on the same team?
Yes. Yeah.
Same team. And you don't even have them coming out of their conference to get to the finals? Wow.
I think Giannis is coming with vengeance. I think he's coming with some vengeance this year.
So I got the same first three issue.
Okay.
Right? You got the big three, Jokic. By the way, international players too, right? American players stand up. Jokic and Jokic, Antetokounmpo, and Doncic, right? It's no way you cannot have LeBron in the top five, bro. Like LeBron James
at 40.
I hate to say it, huh?
At 40 years old, Frank.
Eric, we just saw him he was the best player on the Olympic squad. Like not even close.
Damn, Frank at 40.
He was Eric.
You got LeBron James.
Eric, let me ask you a question. When the stars of stars played, right? When the stars of stars played at the Olympics, who was the best player?
I mean, if you want to consistent, yes, LeBron James was the best player.
He was the best player, period.
But in the big moments, Steph was the best player. The big moments.
No, hold on. That's not true. There are multiple big moments. Steph did step up in the last game and made big shots. Steph was great.
2 games, Steph was big moments. Those were the big 2 games of that.
But LeBron James played well in all the games.
That's what I'm saying. So if you want to take consistency, you take LeBron James. But
Eric, let me ask you a question. Who was the MVP of the Olympics?
Was it LeBron James? I don't remember. It was LeBron James.
I'm asking you who was the best player on that team?
Frank, can LeBron James sustain that level of basketball throughout the whole 82 games, playoffs? I don't think he could do it, Frank. I don't think he can last 82 games of playing that high level basketball, Frank. He'll have moments, but I don't think he'll be that level of basketball player to be considered in the top.
So I got LeBron at 4, right? And at 5, okay, I would have Embiid if he's available, right? But because of all the injuries and all the BS, Embiid would be at 5 for me, but instead of him, I'm putting Shea at 5. Gilgeous-Alexander.
No Tatum?
No.
No Brown?
I'm putting Shea, but
no Brown?
No.
Last year's Finals MVP?
Let me say this to you. I would take Curry before those 2 guys. I'm surprised you didn't take Curry in your 5.
No.
I'm shocked you didn't take Curry in your 5.
No, we're talking about right now. Right now, Frank. Those guys are great.
I'm taking Curry over Tatum. But listen, I don't really like Tatum and Brown, right? But anyway, I just said 5. My 5 would be Embiid if healthy, right? And if not, it's Shea, right? Wow. That's my 5.
Frank, you would take a LeBron James at 40 years old in this current basketball right now to be one of the top?
Of course. Eric, let me say 2 things about LeBron and also about Shea, okay? And it's the problem with the Tatum and Brown conversation, okay? Shea Gilgeous-Alexander has to be in the top 3 to 4 names that you mentioned, right, when you talk about the MVP.
No Anthony Edwards? No Anthony Edwards? I thought about Anthony Edwards. No Anthony Edwards.
No. I'm not even sure he's in my top 10, to be honest with you. Right now, he's not even in my top 10, just to be clear. Because if I name those 5 and if I keep going, at 6, then you go Embiid, right? Then you go Curry at 7. Then you go the 2 Boston guys at 8 and 9. Who else would I go? Yeah, look, Anthony Edwards at 10.
Wow, I mean,
I guess maybe Eric, you can go Edwards at around 10, maybe.
It's being recorded. We can always pull up the tape. You got LeBron and Shea as your top 5 players in the NBA.
Yes, let me ask you a question. Is Anthony Edwards a better player, right?
No,
than Victor Wembanyama.
Like a John Morant coming off,
Nah, not at that level. Is Anthony Edwards a better player than Victor Wembanyama?
Ooh.
Right, I may put Victor Wembanyama in my top 10.
Right now, he's better than Victor, but Victor will be, when it's all said and done, he will be the face of the NBA.
Yeah, is he better right now? just to be clear, Victor Wembanyama.
Anthony's better.
Let me just say this.
Anthony's better right now, Frank. He's better.
Victor Wembanyama was Defensive Player of the Year caliber this year coming up. Like, he'll be Defensive Player of the Year this year.
He's
probably.
a great young player, Frank, but I think he still has a lot to improve, a lot to learn. And I think
so does Anthony Edwards.
I think with Chris Paul being there, I think that'll get him there.
Oh, so okay, I forgot about. So do you put Anthony Edwards ahead of Kevin Durant?
Ooh.
Right, you talking about top 10? Because I had 9, and then now we get to Durant versus Edwards. I take Durant ahead of Edwards personally. I mean, let's not overrate Edwards. Edwards is a good player, but we haven't done anything yet, right? Like I would take Kevin Durant and Victor Wembanyama probably ahead of Edwards this year. If I'm ranking players,
Frank, we can't. We're talking about current right now. Like, Kevin Durant is great, phenomenal for many years. He was great.
When you say right now, let me ask you a question. Victor Wembanyama, right, could be right a top 5 player right now.
Well, you said could be, but we don't know. We talking about
Anthony Edwards. We don't know if he's a top 10 player right now.
We know guys that are proven. We know guys that are proven year after year.
Yeah, okay.
I'm just saying, Victor will be the face of the NBA eventually. You know what I'm saying? And adding Chris.
No, but we're not talking about eventually. We're talking about right now. Who's better? Right now. We're not talking about. And by the way, would you even put Anthony Edwards ahead of Anthony Davis? I would put Anthony Davis ahead of Anthony Edwards right now.
Street clothes,
as you naming players.
Street clothes, Anthony Davis. I don't know. Those guys.
You can't say that because he was healthy. He played all the last year.
Guys that get hurt.
And the year before that.
Guys that get hurt all the time.
So he's no longer that. No, he didn't get hurt last year or the year before most of the time. He's been pretty healthy the last couple of years, to be honest with you. Even though he was Mr. Glass before that. But I'll put him in front of Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards is definitely not in my first 10.
Okay. I mean, I don't have him on my top 10 either, but I'm just saying you got LeBron James.
He's not my top 10.
You got LeBron James and Shai Alexander in your top 5. We said top 5. You got LeBron James and Shai in your top 5.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
And by the way, Eric, let me tell you why LeBron James is in my top 5. Okay. I don't know any player outside of Jokic, Embiid, and Jokic, Embiid, Antetokounmpo that does it more. LeBron does everything. I mean, those other guys that we talked about, Luka Doncic, don't play no defense though, but in terms of facilitating, scoring on the offensive side, LeBron is like that, right? LeBron does everything. When you look at Tatum and Brown, I mean, they're good players, but LeBron does everything. He rebounds. LeBron James is almost a triple-double when he steps on the court.
He's also the coach. Yeah. He's also a coach.
Yeah, that's real. The GM too.
Yeah. Shout out to
the coach and the GM. You're right.
Shout out to
the coach.
Goddamn, the
coach and the GM. You're right. He also the commissioner, to be honest with you. Whatever he wanted to do, he do. We know that.
Shit. Shout out to you, LeBron, boy. I tell you, boy. Damn.
He did. Frank. I did it my way. Was that Frank Sinatra? Whoever it was, he doing it his way.
Yeah.
But so as we talk about that, right? That's a good segue, Eric. Oh, before we segue, let me ask you a question, Eric. So MVP, right? You said Antetokounmpo yesterday. Who's your defensive player of the year?
I'm going Wemby this year.
Yeah, we got to both go Wemby.
Yeah, I go Wemby
right?
this year.
Yeah, I'm going Wemby as well. All right, E. So listen.
Yo, hold on. I do want to give a shout out to. He got back on the court. And I was a fan of Lonzo Ball. He's back on the court. Shout out to him for coming back, playing. Hope he can stay healthy. I was always a fan of him. He's a great young man. Shout out to Lonzo Ball for coming back.
Well, I always love Lonzo Ball. Listen, shout out to him for coming back. We wish him the very best. I think it's still early, Eric. I mean, he played a few preseason games. Let's see with the rigors of travel in the NBA and the games. But listen, we wish him the best.
Yes.
Right? He seems like first of all, he's a great player. He's a 6'6" point guard, right? Yes. Phenomenal, understands the game, athletic, great player. And he was really coming into his own, in terms of being at the upper echelon of point guards in the NBA. So we absolutely hope that his knee is better now and he can play. I'm not as optimistic, E, because obviously, this is a couple of preseason games and he's been out for like 3 years or something like that.
Yeah.
But we'll see. AE, now I got a question for you, E. You ready?
Yeah, let's go.
As we talk about jokingly, LeBron James, owning the team, not owning the team, but the GM and the commissioner and all, also the owner, right? And funny, but owners, meddlesome owners, okay? Can you win championships today with meddlesome owners, okay? And if you look around sports, we have a good amount of meddlesome owners. And I get it too, right? These guys, these are their toys, right? These guys are rich guys. A lot of these are financial guys, private equity, hedge fund, venture capital. These guys spend a lot. Their real job is that, right? The other stuff, the business stuff. And their toy is their NBA franchise, okay? Oil, whatever it may be, okay? So these guys now, once they buy this new toy, it's like driving a new car. You want to drive it around. You don't want to be driven around, right, in your new car, right? Your new fancy sports car, okay? And so they don't want to be driven around. A lot of owners, so they want to drive the fancy new sports car, which is their franchise, whether it be NBA, NFL, Major League Baseball, whatever it may be. Can you win today, Eric, with these meddlesome owners? That's my question. And I'm going to give you some names, Eric. Mark Cuban, George Steinbrenner was that. Jerry Jones, right? Can you win, Eric, with these meddlesome owners today?
Well, man, let me say this. The boss was the best that ever did it. He was the best that ever did it. Shout out to George Steinbrenner, the boss. He was a guy that was involved with getting players, trading players, paying players. He did it the best. You know what I'm saying? So can you win in today's sports world that way? I don't think you can win that way, Frank. I think you gotta put people in position to do their job and let them do their job, and you sit back and enjoy the fruits of, as they say, the fruits of your labor and stuff like that. I think you do that. I think you just sit back and you let other people, you allocate, jobs to other people, let them do their jobs, and you just sit back and just watch and enjoy. You know what I'm saying? I don't think you could do it that way. Back in the day, George Steinbrenner was great the way he did it. You know what I'm saying? Who was another owner that way? Mark Cuban. He won one. But in today's game, I don't think you could do that. I don't think you can win that way. Nope.
So yeah, I agree. Today's game, I think it's impossible, and I think the complexity of running an organization is as complex now as it's ever been. Right? The transactions, the players, the speed, just the evolution of how the game and everything is moving so fast. And so I think it's very, very difficult for owners, meddlesome owners, okay, to win. And we look at recent history. Like you said, Cuban did win one, okay. Which is, I guess somewhat recent, but for the most part, the Dallas Mavericks have not had a lot of organizational success.
Yes.
With him being so meddlesome. But to me, the prime example of this is my Cowboys, right? I'm a Cowboy fan,
Jerry
Eric.
Jones, yeah. Jerry Jones.
And Jerry Jones has gotten to the point now where he's adversely impacting the team. And by the way, he's put together some good rosters. He's drafted some really good players.
Rosters. I mean,
right?
Hall of
He drafted some really, and all the pieces don't always fit, Eric. But I think he's hired some bad coaches, right? I think the Mike McCarthy hire was beyond me. I don't even know. I don't even understand.
But I'm saying too, Frank. When I'm saying this, sorry to cut you off. I'm saying this. When he first came into the league, he put him and Jimmy Johnson, those guys, and Barry Switz and those guys. They had great rosters, and he was, like you said, one of those owners that was in the mix and stuff like that. And he did win. He built a dynasty.
But we talking about today. Yeah, we talking about today, right?
That's why I said today's game you can't do that. But back then it worked.
He made shocking comments when he said that the Cowboys weren't interested in the Ravens running back, right? Derrick Henry, who's clearly, changed the whole trajectory of the Baltimore Ravens. The Cowboys have no running game. And when he said he was not interested in even having a conversation with Derrick Henry, Eric, that statement in itself showed you that he was losing it in terms of running an organization.
Yeah.
But anyway, that being the case, all you got to do is look at the champions, right? You look at the current champions. You look at the Boston Celtics. Most people don't even know. I think it's the Gauss-Beck family. Nobody even knows who their organization is group-wise. Yeah. You look at other organizations. The Hunt family, they run the Kansas City Chiefs, right? That's been the best run franchise in sports. Does anybody even know who that is? I guess you can say Robert Kraft was a meddling guy, right? I mean, Kraft was a guy that meddled a bit, so Kraft is a guy that kind of won, right?
Kind of won. He did win, Frank. He kind of win. He won it almost every year.
Right, Kraft did win. And I'm saying recently.
Yeah, recently. Yeah,
recent. But now, I don't know if Kraft was a meddlesome owner, right? Kraft may have been a high-profile owner, but it didn't feel like Kraft got involved in the organizational choices. It felt like he deferred to Belichick, almost to a fault. Almost to a fault, because Belichick is the person that told him to get rid of Brady, and he did it.
Yeah, I think
right?
So. I think so.
And that was the fault of the organization. So I don't know if I would say Kraft was meddlesome, Eric, but I would probably say Kraft was just high profile. He was a guy that was at parties, he was hanging out, he was at massage parlors having.
He was at a Diddy party.
He was at different. So but that being the case,
party. He was at a Diddy party. Oh man.
But that being the case, Eric, Kraft was. I don't know if he was meddlesome. Like Jerry Jones is a meddlesome guy. Yeah. Like Steinbrenner was meddlesome. Like Mark Cuban were meddlesome. So anyway, that's an interesting dynamic. But I think the NFL sports have changed in general. And you look at who's won a lot of the championships as of late, and they're normally from families that allow the organizations and the people that they hire. Like people, I don't think most people even know who owns the Dodgers, right? Magic is a minority owner.
Yeah.
But you're talking about teams that have won. The Astros. I mean, I think
Look at the Yankees.
Who's that family?
Look at the Yankees, right? I mean, George Steinbrenner's kids. I mean, you hardly hear of them. Getting involved and stuff like that.
But I'm a Yankee fan. But they haven't won very much lately either, though.
When you think of Yankees, you think of more of Brian Cashman than the actual owners.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. So yes, for sure. Now, switching gears a little bit, right? As we're talking about, things that are going on in sports right now, etc. We talked about Deshaun Watson the other day. Okay, we talked about Deshaun Watson, and we talked about the injury. We talked about the fans cheering after he was hurt, not cheering but booing him, etc. Yeah. Do you think Deshaun Watson is done, Eric, as a Cleveland Brown? And by the way, $230 million guaranteed. Or do you got to go back to him because that's the only alternative? Or maybe come play for the Jets. But anyway, is Deshaun Watson done as a Brown?
Man, I don't want to wish nobody's career to end the way it's going so far for him. I think I believe in comeback stories. You know what I'm saying? I'm a great believer in comeback stories. I think given an opportunity somewhere else, a fresh start, I think he could come back and be the Deshaun Watson that we saw with the Houston Texans. I think he has that type of talent. Obviously he has to get his mind right and get his stuff together and get back to playing Deshaun Watson football, the one that we all fell in love with when he was at, Houston Texans. I think a fresh start, somewhere new, somewhere where he can get his mind cleared. I mean, an Achilles injury is tough, you know what I mean? But I think, given the circumstances, if he comes back, new environment, new place, I think he can always come back. And I'm a firm.
So you say he's done. So you're saying he's done in Cleveland?
Yeah, I think he's done in Cleveland. I think he's done, Frank.
So let me say this, right? So first of all, I don't think he'll ever be. He's a shell of what he used to be as a player. And coming back from the Achilles, playing football is super hard, right? I don't know any player that has come back from an Achilles injury and that was still a high-level player, okay? I'm not even sure, Eric, outside of a very specific journeyman kind of situation, that he's still a starting NFL level quarterback.
So you don't believe in the comeback stories. I mean, listen, guys have.
Well, hold on, no. First of all, he's playing hard, Eric, but he's coming back from an Achilles. No one's come back from an Achilles and been the same player, and so he's not even a great player now. So if you get a diminishing return now from a guy when he comes back off this injury, what kind of player will he be then? He's barely an NFL level quarterback today, barely, Eric. And debatably, he isn't. So now you get that, and you couple that with an Achilles injury, which is one of the more catastrophic sports injuries, and you expect him to come back and be a star, unless it's situational, Eric, in a pinch, team needs somebody really badly. He's no longer a traditional starting frontline NFL quarterback. Period.
I'm a sucker for comeback.
I hear you with that redemption and all that kind of stuff, but the play's not there.
That's just me. You know what I mean? Michael Vick came back, through his adversity, came back and, with the Eagles and stuff like that.
But Eric, we're talking about injuries too, bro. We're not talking about, reclamation stories that touch your heart. Physically, dogs. The man missed half of last year. He was injured. He come back this year, but Achilles, Eric. Look at Klay Thompson. We have too much evidence of guys that have come back from that Achilles injury and they've never been the same.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right about that. But again,
so I'm talking about injuries, Eric.
Yeah,
But E, along the lines of I got to ask you this question, right? Switching gears again, along the lines of NFL players in general, Eric. There have been a lot of guys that have publicly held out this year. And by the way, it happens all the time, but we've seen a lot of it and it's been publicized more, right? CeeDee Lambs of the world, Hassan Reddick with the Jets, obviously. Jamar Chase held out with Cincinnati, Eric. And so we've seen a lot of guys that have held out, and all of those teams have been adversely impacted, right? Well, I don't want to say adversely impacted, but those teams have not performed at the level that people have expected those teams to perform. Fair enough?
Yes, fair.
So do you think, Eric, that these players holding out, okay, and people say get your money, right? Do you think it's today hurting teams more than it normally does? Because most of the holdout guys' teams are struggling, Eric.
Yeah, you know me, Frank. I'm always about get your money. I'm about get your money. But I can also say on the flip side, it has impacted winning football when you hold out. I can honestly say that. You know me, I'm about get your money, man. But again, on the flip side, guys who hold out impact winning because in football, as you know, it's locker room, it's repetition, it's getting in there, working on something, film study, all these different things that, catapult you to winning to win football games. And when you don't have that, when you don't have the reps, and when you don't have that, that togetherness, it affects winning football. And I think holding out affects that. You know what I'm saying? And it affects other players as well too.
So what's more important, right? Affecting your teams winning and not winning or getting paid.
What's more important?
Yeah.
Oh no, you gotta get your money, Frank. Get your money.
So in a team sport, and everybody teaches their kid that it's about
Frank.
team first.
No. Get your.
Well, hold on. In a team sport, where it's supposed to be about team first.
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay. You saying forget about winning, right? In organizational and team success, go get your bag, even if it's at the expense of your team winning.
Yeah,
Is that what you're saying? I'm asking you.
Get your money, Frank. Get your money.
Okay.
Let me ask you this now. Let me ask you this. What you rather have? A championship ring? Who by y'all we won a championship or $300 million?
Well, let me say that's a good question. You have to adjust it. Let me tell you why. Yeah. Because it's not either or, because the player's going to get some level of money, right?
No, we're talking about $300 million. We're talking about $300 million, Frank.
Right, but you're saying either you get $300 million or a ring, right? The player's not going to get $300 million, no money in a ring. The player will get $300 million here, or they may get $200 million in a ring. So you're asking the wrong question. There's no player that's playing for free. So the player's going to get some level of money. And by the way, not very many guys outside of quarterbacks are getting even quarterbacks are not getting $300 million. So that's for clear. That's an extreme number. But look, so when you're asking me the balance of maybe do you wait for a contract, maybe you do something like that to be all in for the organization to win a ring, that's a different conversation. No one's going to have one or the other. It's not you get paid a lot or you get paid zero and you get a ring.
Let me rephrase that question.
That's not the right question.
Let me rephrase that question. So now,
okay,
let me rephrase that. You got a championship caliber team, right? That can win.
Yes.
And now they're offering you. They're offering you. Let's say they're offering you 50, and you want 100. So that's 50 that you're leaving on the table. So would you leave 50 on the table and take the 50 and win a championship, or say no, I want 100?
Eric, the problem is this though, right? Like once again, you're asking an unfair question. The chasm between organizations that are negotiating is not that heavy. It's not double. Like it's normally it's like a chasm. It's not that big of a gap.
Yeah.
There's a gap, obviously, but it's not that big, right? It's not like the organization is saying we'll give you 60,000, and the player saying I want 60 million, and the player saying no, I want 150 million. That's not the gap, Eric.
Yeah.
Right, let's be realistic.
Yeah.
When CeeDee Lamb is negotiating with the Cowboys and he wants $130 million, I'm pretty sure the Cowboys are not offering him $60 million.
Yeah.
Right, they may be saying we at 120 or 110, right, or 115, and you got to close that gap. It's a different. Let's bring up realistic situations.
Okay.
Right, teams are normally not that far apart. Right, they offering a player. There's a market that starts. Right, there's a market.
Yeah.
So everybody might try to negotiate based upon market value, Eric, but no one's starting that low. There's a market. So look. CeeDee Lamb and the Cowboys.
I'm basically saying, Frank, would you leave money on the table? That's what I'm saying, Frank. Would you leave money on the table to chase a ring?
But Eric, I don't. But see, when you saying leaving money on the table again, no one's leaving money on the table per se. When you report and come to play, you still might get your money. But the thing that you have to hold over the organization's head is you don't show up. It doesn't mean that you still don't get your money eventually. But because some players, by the way, Tua showed up and got his money. So it doesn't mean that if you don't show up, you won't. If you show up, you won't get your money. But players, that's the only chip they have. When Hassan Reddick goes, Jets. The Jets lost one of their biggest pass rushers last year. They do a trade for Hassan Reddick with the Eagles. Now Hassan Reddick feels like he has all the leverage. Okay. Now when he goes to the Jets and says, "I want a new contract," Jets. Okay. And the Jets said, "No, come into training camp. Come to camp first. We'll talk through it, but come and report and work out." The only thing that Hassan Reddick has that he can hold over their head is not showing up. It doesn't mean that he wouldn't have got the contract if he showed up, number one. Mm-hmm. Same thing with CeeDee Lamb. Okay. What you have to hold over the organization's head is not showing up. Jamar Chase tried the same thing. He didn't show up. All right, they called his bluff, and eventually he came, right? And the organization is not playing well. Cincinnati's struggling for it. The Cowboys are struggling as well. And I'm not just blaming it on those players, but, the press around it, organizationally it's tough. You got to keep answering questions around it. The players feel bad about it. It just creates an interesting dynamic on an organization and on a team that's trying to win.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of
the conversation keeps going back to that.
Yeah, there's a lot of distraction,
right?
when you hold out, right?
Yes,
if you're a key player. But you know me, Frank, I'm about get your money. Get your money.
I mean, I'm about that too, to a degree, but I don't know. And by the way, I feel like the leagues have, and I've always said this, Eric, they've made a big mistake in allowing this stuff to happen when they allow these players to hold out and don't show up and all that kind of stuff. I would have done what the Jets did. Don't show up, don't get paid. Right? Okay, cool. Okay, now Hassan Reddick's agents dropped him over at CAA. He has a new agent, or that's what they say. Now he's with Drew Rosenhaus now. It looks like he's going to report now. But the Jets are in disarray. I'm not blaming just him. But, Eric, it's just an interesting distraction. And maybe the way to fix this is the guaranteed contracts in the NFL. But either way, it's a big distraction the way this thing is happening. And, E, I'm going to close on this note, E. Ready? 2 notes. Right? Kurt Signetti, I think his name is. Right? This is kind of random, E. And I want to say this to the fans out there. Remember, I said it. He's going to be the next Nick Saban, Eric. Right? In college football. The guy's a winner everywhere he goes. He won at Elon. I think he was somewhere else as well. Then he went to James Madison, went to the 1AA championship and lost to North Dakota State, which is a perennial powerhouse, right? Now he's over at Indiana now, and he's undefeated. I think he's 7-0 right now in the Big Ten. The guy's like Nick Saban. He's a little bit prickly, disciplinarian, tough coach. The guy just wins. That's a hot name. If one of these big jobs come up, somebody better find a way to get this guy. And the guy said it himself. All I do is win. Big time coach, E.
Hey, Florida job. Take the Florida job.
Florida job or Florida State, right? I mean, the Florida State coach has to be fired, right? I mean, they may win 1 game this year. Right? Are you taking Florida or Florida State?
Too much money on the table for Norvell to get fired. But Napier, he's out of there.
Right. So, E, second thing, it's so funny how the media and the press works. So the NBA, who, as you know, finances the WNBA, came out and said that the WNBA lost $40 million this year, right? So, the WNBA, again, and it's always been operated at a loss for the NBA, okay? The WNBA, so the NBA published that recently, and then we find out that the WNBA Players, right, Association, they have opted out of their collective bargaining agreement. You have opt-outs. They've opted out. So we may have work stoppage because right now there's no agreement between the Players Association and the WNBA and the NBA. And so it's ironic, Eric, the juxtaposition of the NBA telling the public we're losing money, right? They put that out there on the wire, and then right afterwards you find out that the players have opted out and they want a new contract. So the players want a new contract, which obviously in the negotiation they want more money, they want better travel, they want all of these things that are going to benefit them. But you understand that's what unions are for, and you got the NBA over here saying, "But we losing money." Eric. So the WNBA better be careful, though, okay, across the board organizationally, because they finally created some momentum, Eric. Yeah. The worst thing they can have right now is work stoppage.
Yeah. But listen, I'm in favor of those women, those young ladies, getting what they deserve. You know what I mean? It's right now.
Well, what does that mean if you're losing money, though? You're saying what they deserve. What does that mean if they're losing money? Just for clarity.
Listen, right now the WNBA has some momentum going with them. They just got to figure out when they, whether work stoppage or I know they're losing money, but I feel for those young ladies. I just feel for those young ladies. I think those young ladies are deserving of everything that they should get.
What should they get? You eat what you catch. I'm losing money right now when I'm investing in you. Yeah. I'm just saying, right? Like you keep on saying what they deserve. You keep on using those terms. What they deserve, what they don't. Right now, I'm losing money on the investment. Why should I be paying you more now? Is the argument, right?
Not even just paying. I mean, better travel.
But that's more expense. I'm losing money on the investment.
Well, I mean, listen.
Now, I guess you can argue. Sometimes you can say it takes you a few years to make money on an investment. But how many years the WNBA been around now? 30 years. I mean, we've been losing money for that many years, right? So I guess you could argue, hypothetically, the WNBA could argue, hypothetically, that sometimes you double down on your investment when you see that it's growing and there's an opportunity.
There's an opportunity.
You can argue.
Kaylin Clark, who's a
but they've been losing money. But they've been losing money forever.
Yeah, but
if that's right,
but we see,
but
Frank, we see
if that's right,
Frank, we see the trend. We see the trend with Kaylin Clark and Angel Reese. We see the trend. It's trending upward. It's trending upward, Frank.
Well, with that, just to be clear, Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese were in the WNBA this year and they lost money. If that number's right.
Yeah, if the number's right. But I'm just saying that.
So people cook books. But Eric, they were in the league this year and they lost money. If the WNBA is reporting facts.
Yeah.
Right, that's what's out there.
All I'm saying, from what I see the
if the NBA is reporting facts, the WNBA lost the NBA money this year. So whether you're trending up or not, Caitlin Clark played this season.
Yes.
And it's supposed to be their best season ever in terms of publicity, etc.
That's what I'm saying. It's trending in the right direction.
But I'm still losing money.
But we'll get that.
If you're the NBA.
We'll get that with with these young superstars coming, Juju and all those girls coming into the WNBA. It's trending in the right direction, Frank. It's trending in the right direction. We're losing money,
okay,
but eventually we're gonna recoup that money we've been losing with these young phenoms coming into the league. I just think it's trending in the right direction.
You hope, Eric. All right, well, we'll see what happens, right? Hopefully for the WNBA, the NBA and the WNBA, they can figure this out because work stoppage.
Juju is she's a must-see TV.
Yeah, well, Caitlin Clark is must-see TV, but work stoppage is the worst thing that can happen to the WNBA right now.
Yeah, that's absolutely right.
Just to be clear.
Yes, absolutely right about that.
Just to be clear. All right, well, listen, we got to wrap up now. But yeah, as you know, we always do this at the end of the show. Give you an opportunity to shout out your Dominican brothers and sisters out in the marketplace, making it happen.
Yes.
So do your thing.
But
we want Del Mio.
I want to give a shout out to a Dodger legend. You know what I'm saying? In 1981, they beat the Yankees in the World Series. My man Pedro Guerrero, a Dodger legend. They finally got over the hump and beat the Yankees in the World Series, and it's now ironic we have the Yankees and the Dodgers in the World Series. So shout out Pedro Guerrero de lo mío. The great Fernando Valenzuela, the Mexican. You know what I'm saying? They had all those great stars. Tommy Lasorda. You know what I'm saying? And here we are, 2024, with these two iconic teams playing for the World Series. So shout out Pedro Guerrero. De lo mío.
Now he's de lo mio. Unlike some other guys you brought up on the show. By the way, shout out Fernando Valenzuela, the legendary Mexican pitcher who passed away, I believe it was last night. Legendary pitcher, not a Hall of Fame level pitcher, Eric, probably, but legendary Dodger personality, pitcher from a small town in Mexico. Great player, great player. So anyway, E, go Yankees. Like, subscribe, show love. We appreciate everybody, and we out.
We out.